Okay, so here we have an M5 illuminated, so an F10 M5 illuminated gearknob, which I'm going to attempt to fit to my E82 135i. First of all, see if I can get it out of this frame. Ready to transplant it into my E82 specific frame. I don't want to use anything that's going to damage the leather. So I'm not sure whether this is going to be any good, but we'll see. The staples look like they embed into the plastic frame rather than curl over like a normal staple would. They're just fired straight into it. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that in there. I'll have to try a thinner screwdriver. What's going to happen if I'm not careful. I'm either going to stab myself in the hand. Oh, there we go. Let's get a pair of pliers. There's one. Wiser to go from this direction, so if I do slip I'm not going to damage the leather of the gaiter proper. Oh, there we go. There's two. Definitely going to stab myself in the finger by the time I finish doing this. You get the idea. I'll stop the video for a second. Okay, so I've relieved all of the leather from the frame, and it looks like BMW have also glued it. Awesome. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to unglue it from the frame also. There we go, one F10 M5 illuminated gearknob removed from the M5 frame, ready for later on when I try and attach it to the E82 frame, which I'm sure will be easy. Anyway. Okay, it's the next day, and I'm going to try and get this gearknob off for the first time. I've never actually taken one of these off before, and then I'm going to take this gaiter off the frame and have a go at attaching the F10 M5 illuminated gearknob to my E82 frame. Apparently you can just pop these up out of the way. Oh, we can. It is easy as that. Apparently you just put these in 4th gear. Close the sunroof so I don't send it through it, and then you pull them up. Apparently, oh, and there it is. It's come straight off. Look at that. How easy was that? Excellent. Back in the shed. Okay, here we are back in the shed. I better turn that off because otherwise we'll get a copyright claim. This one's not stapled, so it looks like it's just a case of ungluing it like I did the last one after I'd removed the staples, which looks pretty straightforward. So let's make a start. There we go. It's come off nice and easy. Pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, I'll time lapse the rest of this because no one wants to see me piss around with this fridge. So there we are. It's been released. Gave up after a bit of a fight, and actually, Joe, that the shapes aren't too dissimilar. With a bit of luck, I'll be able to get this one to fit the E82 frame, but you shall see. It looks a bit smaller actually. Okay, time will tell. Okay, quick update. So this has turned into a bit of a mission. So unfortunately the M5 cover does not fit the E82 frame in any way, shape or form. It just doesn't fit. There's no way that's going to go in there, unfortunately. It actually looks like it would fit that way round. Actually it wouldn't, it's too bloody tight. So that's not going on there because it has to actually sit that way round. You can put these two corners in, and they fit quite nicely, but it comes to do this bit and there's nowhere near enough material to make that fit. So next stage was, unfortunately, to ditch the nice M5 gaiter, because it is slightly nicer leather than my E82 one. Separate the gear knob from my E82 gaiter, which involves a little spring clip here, and these little tangs need to have the molten glue trimmed off them very, very carefully to release it from there. So that sits in there like that, clicks into place, and then you have to release the tabs and separate. Did the same for the M5 one, and I've cut the connector off the end because that was the only way to get it to come through this little drilled section here which the wires go through. So that's that and that out of the way. So now is the case of modifying the E82 gaiter to accept these little tangs. Once it goes back in, I'm going to have to use a little bit of araldite or similar to lock it in place. So once I've got that done, then I'll go and see if I can find an illumination live on the car whilst this goes off, and then hopefully I should be able to put it back on. I will catch up with you in a minute. Okay, so with a lot of messing around, I've managed to run the wires through the hole and get everything to line up. Problem with the M5 gear knob versus the E82 gaiter is this little tang here, this little clip doesn't quite fit. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of araldite, put a little bit of araldite in there, a little bit in there, and then a little bit in the holes where the wires come through, so that they can't be pulled through and stressed. And then I'll put a little bit down there on that clip as well, and that will hold this nicely in place. And then I'll have to reattach the E82 gaiter back to the E82 frame. So I'm just going to knock some araldite out quick and then show on the road. Okay, so I've just mixed up a little bit of araldite and encapsulated the little tangs, and then put a zip tie around it. Hopefully that'll compress it while it goes off. I think once it's gone off I might mix up another little batch, because I ran out and I was going to put some in the hole where the wires are, so I think I'll make up another little batch, put a little bit more over the top of the bits I've done, and also secure those wires. But whilst it's going off, I'm going to see if I can locate a live for the illumination. So seemingly in the first bit of this little project that's gone right, underneath the foam insert lives underneath the gaiter. Even though there's nothing illuminated back here at all, there is a sort of a cigarette lighter type socket down here, but it's not illuminated. There appears to be an illumination circuit. We've got 9 volts there on a wire that's on a plug under the gear surround. So perfect. I can just tap into that for the illumination, and with a bit of luck, 9 volts is enough to power that LED inside the gear knob. Sweet. So here's the connector that I tapped into. It plugs in under there. It gave me a clue because the colour of the wire, which is red and grey, matches the colour of the wire on the gear knob. So that was a good clue that it was probably the illumination circuit, which is a bit of a win. What I've got to do now is tap into it, put a couple of spade connectors on the gear knob side, and so I can disconnect it if I need to, and Robert's your mother's brother. So it's all attached. I have tested the illumination and it works, which is nice, which is a bit of a bonus. So now what I've got to do is reattach this to the E82 frame. With hindsight, I would never have removed it, but of course, we're all wise with hindsight. So the original attached with glue, but I think what I'll try and do is, rather than re-glue it, I think I'll staple it back on. The M5 gaiter was glued and stapled. I think staples will probably suffice. That's what it's going to get. So let's see what I can do with this. It's a bit fiddly. I may have to put a couple of staples in to hold it and then work it round. I'm no good with this sort of thing. There we go. Almost done. So I'll try wanging a couple of staples in, or wanging is an official term. See if I can't wang some in there. Well, that didn't go so well. Okay, change of plan. It's going to have to be glued. Staples I couldn't get to go through it. So glue it is, but I don't have any of the. I do have some actually. I wonder if I could use that instead. I do have some sort of flexible glue. Better than super glue, just in case it ever has to come off again. Change the plan again. Right, okay, this could get bloody messy quick, but it's going to be the better option. A little bit of adhesive, and I think it's definitely the better option. But it's going to get messy. It's bound to get messy because I'm doing it. Oh, fuck me. everywhere but where it's supposed to be. If this stuff ever sets. Try and not stick my fingers to it. Oh, my fingers to each other. Stuff's either full bore or bugger all. Two bits, I think. 3 fingers. Right. If I can avoid getting glue on my tripod, I'll pause the video. Okay, so back in the car. Just trying to figure out if this wiring's going to have to go through this or round it. I'm going to try and make it go round it rather than through it. Otherwise, it means taking it apart. But I've got to disconnect the 2 wires that I've just sealed up. Which I'd rather not have to do. Looks like I can get the wires to sit around there. It won't be a problem. Sit above that. It's not going to hurt, is it? Apparently you just give this a smack and that's it. That's in. Oh, it feels so much nicer. It's more in keeping with my steering wheel. Tried retrim by Royal Steering Wheels. Shout out to them. They did a great job of retrimming this wheel with the flat bottom and the nappa leather. It's a much nicer rim to live with on a daily basis. You can see it, actually, you can see that it's illuminating when I switch it on. Look. There we go. And off. And on. And off. Good. Okay then, so there we go. Nice M5 illuminated gear knob, which goes much better with the, sorry about the autocorrect on the light there, goes much better with the nappa steering wheel. I think just have to get my handbrake to match now. All good. Hopefully this has been helpful for some.